Did you wake up today wondering if this could finally be the turning point for your Iraqi dinar investment? So, you are definitely not the only one. Today is October 5th, 2025, and there are fresh updates that every IQD holder needs to pay close attention to. All across the globe, people are glued to their phones, scrolling through forums and asking the same question: is this the day we see a revaluation or at least a major announcement? While speculation is running wild, the real key is separating the facts from the hype. In this video, we are going to break down exactly what's happening with the Iraqi dinar, from the latest exchange rate decision to the ongoing debate over those 25,000 dinar notes. By the end, you'll know what the Central Bank of Iraq has officially confirmed, what it means for your investment strategy, and how to stay grounded instead of getting swept up in the panic. So, grab your coffee, because this update is loaded with details you don't want to miss. The biggest headline today comes directly from the Central Bank of Iraq, which just issued an official statement on the currency. As of this morning, the official exchange rate remains locked at 1,320 Iraqi dinars per US dollar. Now, this rate has been in place for months, so many investors weren't exactly shocked. What did raise some eyebrows, however, was the specific wording the bank used in its update. They stressed their ongoing commitment to keeping the rate stable and aligned with their wider monetary policies. For investors, that one word, stability, is incredibly important. It signals that the Iraqi government is trying to steer away from any sudden dramatic shifts that could disrupt the economy. While some of you were probably hoping for those immediate revaluation headlines, the real takeaway here is the government's focus on building a slow, steady path forward. That might not be exciting for short-term speculators, but for serious long-term investors, it shows that the groundwork is being laid for lasting growth. So why does this announcement matter, even if it didn't come with a dramatic rate change? Well, the central bank also unveiled new steps aimed at supporting the dinar and the regional markets. One of the major new policies is a complete overhaul of their foreign currency auction system, which is set to begin next week. These auctions are designed to regulate how US dollars flow into Iraq's economy. Right now, there's a big difference between the official rate of 1,320 and what money changers on the streets of Baghdad are actually charging, which is closer to 1,450 or even 1,480. That gap creates a lot of headaches for both Iraqi residents and for investors. By refining these auction procedures, the central bank hopes to tighten the dollar supply and push that street market rate closer to the official one. A smaller gap means a healthier, more predictable currency market. For everyday Iraqis, this is a huge step meant to ease the challenges of buying goods, paying bills, or sending money. For investors, a narrowing gap is a clear signal of progress and stability, both of which strengthen long-term confidence. Now, let's shift to the most controversial topic of the last few weeks: Iraq's 25,000 dinar notes. Social media has been absolutely buzzing with rumors that these notes are being withdrawn or that banks are refusing to accept them. Some people have even claimed they've been told to trade them in for smaller bills. Naturally, this has stirred up a lot of anxiety among investors all around the world. But when you actually check the facts, the story looks very different. The 25,000 dinar notes remain fully legal tender. Iraqi banks are still honoring them, and the central bank has issued no official recall whatsoever. The confusion seems to be coming from standard banking practices, where customers are simply encouraged to carry smaller bills for easier daily use. Think about it, it's no different from trying to use a $100 bill for a $5 purchase. It works, but it's not very practical. For investors who are holding these larger notes as a long-term asset, there is absolutely no reason to panic. But for shoppers inside Iraq, having a mix of smaller notes just makes life easier. Let me give you a simple example. A shop owner in Baghdad recently explained how a customer tried to buy a 15,000 dinar phone charger using only a 25,000 note. The purchase was perfectly valid, but the merchant struggled to provide 10,000 dinars in change, because he was already running low on smaller bills. Situations like this are really common, and they explain why banks are encouraging smaller denominations. This isn't a sign that the note has lost value, it's just a matter of practicality. Misunderstanding these kinds of stories has led a lot of investors into unnecessary fear. In reality, the 25,000 note is just as strong today as it was yesterday. The only difference is how convenient it is for everyday transactions. Recognizing this distinction is critical. Your investment strategy and your daily cash usage are two completely different things. By keeping that in mind, you can avoid making any rash decisions that might end up hurting your position instead of protecting it. So let's step back and look at what all these updates really mean for IQD investors. Today's message from the central bank wasn't about a sudden dramatic change. It was about patience and consistency. And in the world of currency, gradual stability is often a much healthier path than sharp, unexpected shifts. A stable dinar helps build trust. It gives businesses the confidence to invest, and it signals to international partners that Iraq is a dependable market. In turn, this creates a positive cycle. More investment leads to more growth, stronger tax revenues, and eventually, a more valuable national currency. For investors, the clear lesson here is that chasing rumors is far less useful than watching the official updates. By paying close attention to Iraq's broader economic moves, you'll get a much more realistic picture of the dinar's true potential. Of course, one of the biggest forces behind Iraq's currency is its oil production. Right now, the country is pumping around 4.3 million barrels per day, which is nearly reaching its OPEC quota. High oil output increases dollar reserves, which in the long run can strengthen the dinar. These figures provide measurable, reliable insight into the health of Iraq's economy, like the speculation you see floating around on forums. How Iraq manages this oil wealth also matters a great deal. Balancing spending with savings and maintaining a careful budget helps reduce deficits, which keeps inflation under control. And as every investor knows, inflation is a silent killer that eats away at currency strength. So, lower deficits and stable inflation are solid indicators that the dinar's foundation is improving. But economics aren't the only piece of the puzzle. Politics play a huge role too. Iraq still faces political hurdles, from disagreements in parliament to delays in policy reforms. These uncertainties can rattle investor confidence, since leadership shifts or sudden legal changes could impact the economy. On the other hand, consistent governance and smooth decision-making have the opposite effect. They build trust and strengthen the dinar's outlook. For investors, it's crucial to watch both the numbers and the news coming out of Baghdad. Economic indicators like oil revenues and inflation are important, but so are political agreements and reforms. Together, they shape the currency's long-term direction. So, where does that leave you as an investor right now? The best strategy is to focus on facts, not speculation. Stick to official sources like the Central Bank of Iraq and the Ministry of Finance, rather than unverified social media claims. Pay close attention to the fundamentals, things like exchange rates, auction results, oil exports, and budget performance, because these are the true drivers of value. Keep your 25,000 notes safe and secure, preferably in protective sleeves or a safe deposit box. There is no reason to rush out and exchange them, since they remain valid. But if you do plan on spending dinars inside Iraq, it just makes sense to carry smaller bills for convenience. This simple adjustment can save you a lot of frustration and keep your transactions smooth. Another point to monitor very closely is the rollout of those new auction rules. These rules are specifically designed to close the gap between the official and the street rates. If you start to see that difference shrink in the coming weeks, it's a clear sign that the policy is working. That would be a very encouraging development for both Iraqis and international investors. At the same time, watch how Iraq's banks handle these reforms. A more modern banking system that can process larger volumes and smoother transactions adds stability to the financial sector. That stability directly supports the currency and builds trust among investors. Each of these steps might look small on its own, but together they create a much stronger foundation for the dinar. Looking at the bigger picture, every single improvement in Iraq's economy, whether it's infrastructure upgrades, its more efficient banking, or better tax collection, supports the long-term health of the currency. A stronger economy means a stronger dinar. And for investors, that's the real story here. Patient, steady progress is worth far more than any sudden speculative spike. Currency investing is a marathon, not a sprint. By keeping your focus on the fundamentals and ignoring the noise, you put yourself in the best possible position for long-term success. Finally, A quick word of caution about those ongoing to 5K note rumors. They will continue to surface online, but most of them are either misunderstandings or outright falsehoods. Always confirm any information through official announcements before you act on it. Panicked moves rarely protect your investment. In fact, they often do the opposite. By staying calm, informed, and disciplined, you'll avoid unnecessary risks. Today's message is simple. The exchange rate remains at 1,320. The 25,000 notes are valid, and the central bank is focused on building gradual stability. Stay patient, watch the fundamentals, and protect your holdings wisely. So, to wrap up this October 5th, 2025 update, the official rate is unchanged at 1,320, but new auction procedures are coming to stabilize the market. Your 25,000 notes remain legal tender, and there is no need for any immediate action. The focus is on careful, step-by-step management, not dramatic overnight changes. As an investor, you should follow official channels, monitor economic data, and secure your holdings. Ignore the noise and rely on the facts. If this breakdown gave you some clarity, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with fellow IQD holders. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Remember, patience, discipline, and knowledge are your best allies in smart investing. Thanks for watching.